This one is exciting. This video this week is going to lead on to something that I am super excited about, not to mention that you are going to get so much knowledge that you probably didn't have a clue about in this video. So make sure you watch all the way through to the end to get all the shiz. Hello lovely couples and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren, wedding planner and owner of Bluebird Creative. I provide a weekly dose of wedding planning goodness for the modern couple. So if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do so, then you will not miss a video. And they drop every week on a Wednesday at 1 PM. So I feel like I just need to slide in and say it. Have you noticed the difference? Have you noticed the difference? 7 months, guys, since I had my hair cut and coloured. 7 months, okay? I know that the majority of my audience is actually based in the US. I don't think you've had the same hair crisis as we have over here. I mean, it's not been great for anyone, let's be honest, but I have only managed now to get into the salon and have my hair cut and coloured. So it's all gone and we're back to blonde and I'm trying to get used to it. Anyway, enough about my hair. Let's talk about this week's video, which I'm so excited about. This week we are talking about the design elements that are part of your wedding ceremony. I am breaking it down to just the ceremony so you can get some amazing nuggets of information and you can really design your ceremony and then use that information to design the other parts of your wedding day as well. So let's just break it down, my friends, jump into this week's video and give you the goods. Let's go. So first things first, when it comes to the design, now I am not talking about the logistics of your wedding ceremony. In fact, I think I've done a video on that, so I will link that for you here. If I have, I definitely have. So I'm linking that for you. And it's not about the religious or any sort of side of things to do with that. I don't get involved in that. Planners don't get involved with that. You have to speak to your celebrant or your registrar or your vicar or whoever is running your wedding. We are solely talking about the design. When I say solely, it's such a big part and it's super, super exciting. So first things first, you need to decide if you're getting married inside or outside. And that is part of the design because you are either going with like the natural environment, you might be on a field, you might be on a green, you might be on the beach, you might be inside in your wedding venue. So that is the first element that you need to consider when looking at your ceremony design. The next element is your chairs. Are you having chairs? What type of chairs do you want to have? Are you having wooden crossback chairs, which are probably the most popular chair at the moment over here in the UK? It used to be a lime wash Chiavari chair. You might want wooden benches. You might sort of want some old cool like school benches. You may want hay bales if you're going for a festival vibe. Whatever it is, you need to think about what you want. You may just be going with the standard chair that's provided by your venue, or you might be somebody that wants to really think about the design, which I'm thinking you probably are, or else why are you watching this video? But anyway, think about the style that you want. Make sure that it fits in with the whole vision and the setup and the design and the style of your venue and the style and theme of your wedding. When I say theme, it doesn't need to be a theme, just the design, the concept. And then how do you want those chairs laid out? I mean, you're likely to have two sides so that there's still an aisle, but are they going to be curved? Are they going to be straight? How many rows are you going to have? That sort of thing. So consider the chairs or the seating and whether they're inside or outside. Then there's the aisle decor. Now, you can do stuff here, you don't have to do stuff here. Let's talk about the options that you could do. So for example, you could literally just do a load of tea lights down the aisle and some rose petals. It's not an on-trend style at the moment, but it's quite a classic trend that people do tend to do. You can do storm lanterns and just have them at the end of each row, because obviously we don't want trip hazards. People need to be able to get access in and out of the rows. I recently saw a shoot where somebody had run fabric all the way down the aisle. That's a trip hazard. So you could have storm lanterns running down the aisle. You obviously wouldn't have them in the gaps. You would make sure that they're at the ends of the rows. And those can look really pretty. And they're also a bit more cost effective than having lots of flowers. Alternatively, you can have flowers. So you could have pew ends, which are usually floral arrangements or decor that are attached to the ends of the rows. That might be a little bit of foliage that you've got hanging, perhaps some sort of fun like bouquet that's sometimes hanging upside down. Sometimes people do jam jars filled with flowers and they're hung up, that sort of thing. Those can then also be repurposed to the wedding breakfast somewhere to decorate the room. So that's always quite handy. Another thing that I absolutely love doing, and we have got a few of these this year with my couples, is what I like to call like the meadows. Okay, so that is basically where you've got beautiful flowers growing up what looks like out of the ground. They're sort of a bit wild and they just look stunning. And you put them at the ends of the rows and they just look like they're growing up the sides of the chairs, and you feel like you're properly walking down a meadow, especially if you're getting married outside. It's just so beautiful. These obviously are a little bit more pricey, so you might do them every other row, and in the opposites you can have nothing, or you can do lanterns. So it works out really nicely, and with all my weddings we're repurposing them to the wedding breakfast, so they're still getting used, because I don't like the idea of waste. A ceremony is only 30 minutes. I think you should still make your ceremony look beautiful, but repurpose it, and then it's not wasted. Because I think some people won't spend the money on the decor for the ceremony, whereas actually you can repurpose it and then everything can look beautiful. So that's how you could potentially decorate your aisle. So really do think about whether you want something there and how you want to go about it. You can then decorate the altar area as well. You may just want to have a few bits of decor along the registrar's table. You may want to have two beautiful, huge arrangements in two urns either side of you where you're going to be standing. You may want to have a floral arch around the altar, something constructed, or perhaps if you're outside, if it's a legal ceremony, you have to have a structure. So you may want to have the flower arch growing up around the structure. That always looks really good with the meadows as well, because it's just really natural and wild and beautiful. So how do you want to decorate that part of the ceremony area? Again, think about how you could potentially repurpose that. Then there's signage. Do you want to have any signage on the day to let your guests know where they're going to sit, or just to welcome them perhaps? And this is a design element because you want it to fit in with all the rest of your stationery. You want it to fit in with the rest of the design and the concept for the day. So do you want some signs as the guests arrive to welcome them to the wedding of? Give them some timings perhaps of the day, just ceremony time, wedding breakfast time, dancing time, and carriages time. Really simple, and as they arrive they kind of get a good vibe for what's happening when. They know when they're going to be eating, which makes people so much happier, trust me. And it's another way to get your design flowing all the way from the start of your day. You could also have signage to say take a seat not a side, or if you are doing sides, then, you know, Mrs. over here and Mr. over here, as in friends of Mrs., friends of Mr. over here, or however you want to do it. So that's always a nice way to incorporate your design into the signage. You've obviously then got orders of service as well. You don't have to do these. You might want to do these. Depending on if it's religious or not, it'll be orders of service or orders of ceremony. And again, that design can be pulled into those booklets or that sheet or however you want to do it. So those are the different areas that you should consider when you're looking at the design of your wedding ceremony. It's less complicated than the rest of the day, but it still can look absolutely beautiful. And I think people tend to forget the ceremony and they focus on the wedding breakfast, which can be extra and is my absolute favourite. But the wedding ceremony is what the day is all about, and it's a shame for people to forget it. So using my tips to repurpose as well is a really good way to still be able to decorate your ceremony area and use the same things for the wedding breakfast area without blowing the budget too much. So there we go, guys. Those are the simple areas that you can consider when designing your wedding ceremony. I really hope that you found that helpful. I am currently putting together a workbook for you guys. I'm super excited. It's not going to be ready just yet because I am working on it, and it's going to literally tell you where you can pull design in throughout every part of your wedding day, what things to consider and how you might want to go about doing them. So I'm really, really excited to get that created for you and get that out to you as soon as possible. If you want to make sure that you don't miss out on that, then make sure you are on my mailing list, because those on my mailing list get first dibs on everything. If you want to know how to get on my mailing list, then basically grab one of my freebies in the description box below. So you will get my checklist, or you can get my budget split spreadsheet. So you're getting some absolute goodness and you're getting on my list, which means you will not miss out when this amazing product lands in the digital shop. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and I will be back next week with some more wedding planning goodness. I'll see you then.